Welcome back to the Blonde Highlights podcast.
Hi.
So today we're going to be talking about how to improve effective communication. But first, we got to get into the gossip. We got to get into the tea. What is going on with you, Kris?
Okay, so I have stumbled across my new favorite TikTok page. Now, I have briefly talked about this type of content before in an episode, but I didn't know that there was an actual page dedicated to this, and it popped up, and I've never been more thrilled in my life. It's called He's So Mid. So if you're not familiar, one, follow. And two, it is a page that is based solely on the creator finding photos of celebrities and then going on and looking at the comments, looking at the nasty comments, and then deep diving their profile to find pictures of what these people look like and then showing it. So someone will comment on like Megan Fox and be like, she's so used up. And then the person that commenting is like wearing like stupid glasses and like overgrown beard and like just like the ugliest person. So this today, I probably spent a half an hour on this page just dying laughing at some of these stupid men, and actually some were women, who get on behind the little keyboard and make comments and bring everybody down when they don't have a fucking leg to stand on.
Oh my God, you know what's crazy is I didn't know that was one single page. I thought it was like a trend or something, but I'm obsessed with that too. That's my favorite thing. And it's hilarious because even when we get like weird hate comments on our pages, like I always go and look sometimes and I like chuckle because I'm like, wait, what?
This like really? Yeah. And when you go on, it is so funny. I recommend He's So Mid. Check them out.
It's hilarious because
won't regret.
It's so funny the way they do it too, because they'll like show the comment and then they show like the commenter and then they start zooming in and then each thing just gets closer and closer to their face. And it's like, wait.
Their like non-existing hairline, like their receding hairline, it'll be like, she's washed up now. She just doesn't do it for me. And then it'll zoom in on like his hairline that's like halfway back through his head.
And they're always like the half of them look like they could actually be this person's father. Like it's like,
oh, there's some of them.
Yes, exactly. And it's always like these people, they're like scrolling TikTok and they're just like, and it's just, they see the youth in people, they see beauty in people, and they're just like, they got to attack it. And it's kind of interesting because like, yeah, that is something that happens online, but also this is so like the way the real world works too. Like this is what happens, you know, it's like, the haters are amongst us and they don't really like to stand on either, you know, and it's like you can use that as an example when someone's talking so negatively about you. Maybe zoom in on their lack of personality or zoom in on their, you know, bad behavior or like weird social skills or something, you know?
Exactly. Oh my God. I also want to bring up, now, I sent this to you.
Okay.
The amount of things that we have predicted on the show that has come true. Mm-hmm. The way that cow print is again coming back. Now they're doing Adidas cow print shoes.
Oh my God.
A whole article I saw on Glamour that was like, everything cow print this spring or whatever. And then I saw more watch rings. So just another reminder, you heard it here first for trendsetters.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like when you come into the Blonde Highlights podcast, you're going to get like breaking information. This is information that hasn't even hit the magazines yet, hasn't even hit the world yet. You're getting it straight from us. Like we are predictors and we know, you know,
hard-hitting facts.
The hard-hitting facts right over here at the Blonde Highlights podcast on everything like this. But I'm telling you what, though, like I really outdone myself with that cow print prediction because I don't feel like there was a lot of signs. And I was just like, I was really feeling Selena, you know, not Selena Gomez, OG Selena. And I'm obsessed with the cow print look the whole band does. That is my inspiration for life. Like, and I was just like, I want cow print. Like, I want cow print. And I'm like, obviously, if I want cow print, like, other people are going to want it soon anyway. So.
And it's here. It is here. And it's like me with the watch rings. I was thrifting and I found a watch ring and I was like, this reminds me of one that I had as a kid. And I bought it. And I told you, I'm like, I have a feeling these are going to come back. Like these need to come back.
Do you think
Anyway,
maybe like our spirit guides or like our ancestors, they're just like, you know what, we're going to like let you know. We're going to let you know so you can tell the masses.
yes, this is our destiny. Like this podcast, like that's why we're like hitting off the charts because like this is our destiny. This is our calling, our purpose.
Mm-hmm. Literally, we're backed up by the ancestors.
What other tea did you get this week?
Okay. I have low-key been obsessed with the Alabama Barker Bad Baby like drama between the two and them making like all the diss tracks back and forth with each other. I don't know why I'm so obsessed, but I just kind of find it like hilarious. And I do gotta say, I'm Team Bad Baby all the way.
I'm just like, it's so much to keep up with. I'm not gonna lie, I did a deep dive on it today because you and I were talking about it earlier today. And I was like, I've heard little bits and pieces, but then I did a deep dive and I was like, oh my God, there is so much to unpack here. There is so much going on. I don't.
Yeah. And I always see, like, it's always like when I'm like scrolling way too late at night, like I come upon like the Alabama Barker lives where she's like getting her wigs done and she's getting her nails done and she's getting ready. I don't know where she's going at 1 a.m. when I should be asleep, but she's going somewhere or she's going nowhere. I don't know. But like, she's too young. You know what I mean? I feel like to me, like she's like 18, 19. I don't know how old she is, but she's like,
teen.
Yeah, like I just don't, like, I don't really care that much. But I also am like, this is now that the diss tracks are happening and the music's happening and it's like, it's kind of fun, you know? And I forget how young Bad Baby is because she's like groundbreaking in that genre of whatever that is. And like, I'm down with her. Do you know what I mean? Like, I respect Bad Baby. I don't know, like, to me, she's a badass businesswoman. She stood on the fact that she got on Dr. Phil. First of all, I got mad beef with Dr. Phil. You know what I mean? Because Dr. Phil does that on purpose. Now, was she an out of control teen? Probably. But she took that persona and she ran with it. And honestly, like, she had like 2 rap songs. Like, this is like pre-2020. This is like 2017. And then she had another rap song, like, I think like after 2020 was like Gucci flip flops. And I'm telling you,
oh my God, yeah,
they're like absolute bops. Like, what am I, 90 bops? Like they bop, but like there were good songs. Like both of her rap songs, I listened to. Like I was like, I will listen to this. I don't even care that it's Bad Baby. And then I think too, like she really just leaned into the OnlyFans thing and like, I think she made like $1 million like the first day or something like that. And like, I don't even know the statistics on how much she's made, but she's made like an insane amount of money. And I feel like she kind of like went back. Like she was like, I've made a ton of money. I don't need to be like up in the business all the time. But Alabama brought her back. And I'm telling you, like her raps, the diss tracks are so fun.
Both of them are fun. I listened to a couple of them and I was like, this is so funny. Like, imagine just being them and like just coming up with these little bops. I can't. I was like, I feel too old to be like really in it. And I'm just like, I don't like, I get what's going on, but at the same time, I'm like, this is just like too much for me. But like, I'm here.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like I'm observing from afar. Like I've only really like consumed the content from other people talking about it or like playing the music. Like I don't really follow either one of them or I don't know a lot about either one of them. But honestly, like there's the thing is like the rap music they're making, like, I mean, listen, these are 2 very wealthy girls. I think that there's probably a team behind them. And I think Bad Baby is like, well, if she's going to bring me back, I might as well just lay it down, you know? So, and like, she used like a Kanye sample in one of those. So it, like, that was a diss too, like, because Alabama's part of the Kardashian family. But it is, I don't know. It is kind of like, just give it, it's like in a world of doom right now. I'm having fun.
Here's the thing though, is that their moms are involved.
Yeah.
Bad baby, everybody was like, bad baby grew up poor, like blah, blah, blah. And her mom went online and she's like, don't you tell anybody that we are poor. She's like, we did not. She's like, she did not grow up poor. She's like, I worked my ass off and we grew up, or she grew up middle class. She's like, don't get it twisted. We were not poor. And I was like, good for her. You show that hard work that you did. And then Alabama's mom came on and said that she's only 19 and that this has gone too far and that she doesn't even know how she would handle all of the things that are happening to her, especially since everything that Alabama's lived through, which I don't know. I don't know really anything about her except for she's Travis Barker's daughter. But like, I was like, damn, the moms are coming out for it.
It was kind of funny. There was these videos I saw. It was comparing Alabama Barker at 13. She had this like pop song, and then they like go to like Bad Baby, and she's like, "Cash me outside." How about
that? Was like the most iconic thing of 2016.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
I was showing every photo shoot, and like that was like everybody would be saying, "Cash me outside." How about that? For like a full year.
Oh my God, I know. Do you remember the video of the guy from like, this is like 2010, and he was like, hide your kids, hide your wife, hide your...
Yes.
Yes. It was like the 2016 version of that.
Yes.
Yes.
Hide your kids, hide your wife. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was crazy. But like, the moms are kind of like, here's the thing. Here's the thing on both moms. I mean, Shayna Moakler, like, icon. But something's going on with that situation with the mother daughter. Like, there's not, something's off there. And also, Bad Baby, her mother may have like provided her a middle class lifestyle and everything, but like she also like got her own Dr. Phil that has a history of using these kids on these shows in a bad way, you know?
Yeah, but I feel like her mom probably knew what she was doing.
Yeah.
Like, you need to get seen. No one's going to take you seriously. We're putting you on Dr. Phil.
Yes.
Take your moment, become a celebrity.
Yeah, exactly. And I just feel like, yeah, I don't know. I like, it's so funny because I'm like so not invested. Like, I don't even know like the details because apparently like someone stole someone's man, someone did something. Like, it's just like that childish, like, when you're like, and you're like, you're an adult, but you're like not, your brain isn't fully formed yet, and you're just like fighting over some like terrible man that like is a piece of shit.
Is cheating on you while you have cancer and a baby, like
yeah, like it's not all that.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I'm hoping that for female empowerment and for the girls, sisters, I'm hoping that they're actually kind of like, you know what, F this man. Let's keep this going of us beefing with these diss tracks, and let's make money, and let's build our celebrity, and let's bank off of this. Like, I feel like low-key, they're like in the background, like texting and being like, mad respect on that one.
Say this, say that. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
No, the girls got to stick together. The girls always need to stick together.
And that's the thing. When you're dealing with two girls, you're dealing with some man like this. I mean, obviously this is different because there's kids involved and there's other things involved. But team up against him. You know? Yeah. Don't let him make you crazy and doing all these things. Team up. Team up.
If he's doing that, he's not worth it.
No, not at all.
Absolutely not. Make your money.
Exactly. So what's your highlights or lowlights this week?
Okay, so my highlight is we finally got Aiden in theater, which is really exciting. He is now performing Little Mermaid in the community theater. Oh. So he had his auditions last week, and we find out what role he gets this week. So I'm so excited. I won't be here, but I'll find out. But yeah, I'm really excited. It's been like a long time coming. I finally like pushed him to do it. Like, he's been really nervous to do it. And I think like just kind of stopping himself a bit out of fears. So we had a good conversation. He's really excited about it. So that's a win. And then my low light is like, I swear I'm going through some like seasonal depression thing right now. Like this past week, granted, I had my period. So I was just like a wreck. Like The snow is ridiculous. It's not stopping. It's so cold. It was like -11, but feels like -21. Like you can't go outside. Driving conditions have been crazy. It's just like overcast. It's just not a good time right now. And I feel like I've just been going through it. Like I can't get motivated. I don't want to exercise. I don't want to go to the gym. I don't like the one day again, like I had my period, I literally was just like, I'm in bed all day. Like I'm a piece of shit and that's fine.
I will go back to, though, I was a community theater kid. I did community theater, and that was like a big part of my childhood. And
It is a community.
it is. And it's exciting community theater because it's like, it ain't just like at school. You know what I mean? Like, this is serious. Like, this is the theater. This isn't like,
People pay to come.
yeah, it's not like the cafeteria at school. Like, it's,
No, it's a big deal.
yeah. I
Right.
remember I was in community theater, and it was like an old church, I feel like. And there was this play I was doing, Cheaper by the Dozen. I think I played like one of the kids, and I was backstage, and I hyperextended my thumb all the way back because I was like nervous, and I was like pushing my hand down, and my thumb went all the way back down here, and I like screamed backstage, and then
Oh my God.
they had to go get my mom
Stop.
to like come backstage. But you know what? I persevered, and I went out and did my role. Like,
Stop it.
we went to the hospital after.
That's a really weird play to do though. Cheaper by the dozen.
Yeah.
It's just an odd play. Like normally it's like a Disney thing like Aladdin or like
Yeah.
Little Mermaid.
Yeah. Well, also,
Yeah, that's
I can't sing. I mean, one day I will put out like a really great like auto-tune dance track, but just know it's going to be auto-tuned. Do you know what I mean? Like, but I really can't I can't sing like theater songs very well. So I had to do what I could do, you know? And
she had the best part.
it was special for me because my father was one of 12.
Oh my God, stop it. You're like, this is my moment. This is the homage to my family.
I'm like, I am literally playing my dad right now.
Stop. Oh, no, I'm really excited. It's really good for him. He memorized like every single line on the script. So for his audition. So I'm just hoping this week, like, he gets a role that he really wants. I said he's probably going to be Flounder. I think he's going to be Flounder. We'll
Ooh,
see.
that's fun.
I know.
Okay, so yeah, you have been like really depressed, and I'm like, girl, but there is snow. There's like snow up to your windows. Like she's out there, like she's like hanging out of.
Shovel. The way I had to shovel the back deck just to let the dogs out. Charlie's outside trying to do his business with one leg in the air because he's like jumping because he can't stay in the snow. It's so depressing right now. I hate it. I'm just like, give me sunshine. Please let me get booked in LA soon. Like I just need sunshine.
Well, yeah, my highlights, lowlights are going to be completely conflicting to yours because here's the thing: is as a gardener, like as a like literally like I dig in the dirt gardener, not like a other gardener, it is that time of year. It is spring is sprung. Like spring is springing next week. It is springing next week, and it is go time. Like it is literally at this moment. My car is still filled with bags of soil. Like it is crazy. And it's just like I'm in a mad rush. Like my seeds that I started at home and the things are outgrowing that. They need to get planted. I got to get this dirt in there. So, you know, my highlight is one, I will say, like I've talked about like my struggle with fibromyalgia and chronic pain. And it is hard for me to do some of these things, but I use the garden as a way to really push myself. And I'm actually like my highlight, I'm gonna give gratitude is that like mentally I have been stronger, like to really push myself. And the fact that like I had to get 14 bags of soil up to my garden. And so normally like I'm up the top of the hill and the fire that we had in LA like burned down to the back gates. So the back gates are closed. So I can't go in from the top of the hill on the other side. I have to start from the bottom of the hill. So, first of all, I had to go to the store, pick up the 14 bags of soil that I ordered. Okay.
No, that would not.
These aren't normal bags of soil either. These are 3 cubic yards. Like, these are heavy as shit. I'm waiting. This woman's like, you should have done curbside pickup. And I was like, oh, why? She rules out. Okay. a huge cart, not like a shopping cart, but like one of those like dolly type carts. It's like flat
Yeah.
with a pallet on it and all the bags stopped up on the pallet. And they're like, here you go. Here you go. But you know what? I was pushing. I pushed that soil. And then when I got it in my car, and then I got to the garden, and you know what? I tried to get like small. I got 6 of the 14 bags up the hill to the garden plot. And I had to get it down the street to the gate. I had to open up that gate, get it inside the gate. Then I had like a little, like, not a wheelbarrow, but like a...
Carry each bag?
Yeah, down this sidewalk. And then put them in a wagon. I tried to pull 4 at the same time on the wagon. I just like couldn't do it. So then I just like ditched half of them like on the side of the path. And then I'm like trying to pull it up. It took me, each trip up the hill took me forever because I had to keep stopping, like literally. But I'm just saying, like, my highlight is I'm so proud of myself because I really pushed myself to like crazy extremes. But I'm sore as hell today. And I still got like 8 bags more to go up that hill, which I think, like, I was thinking like I could just like, it isn't that big of a deal, but my car smells terribly. So like, I have to figure this out. Like, it's like,
That's not a big deal. It's my car.
like I probably smell because my car reeks. Like, it is gross.
No.
But it's packed to the max. I'm like, someone's going to bust my windows and then be like, oh, it's dirt.
Oh my God. I'm proud of you though. Good.
Yeah. Like, I'm sore as hell and I got a lot of work to go and I don't know how I'm going to do it, but we're going to get it done.
Do it. She's the gardener. She's got the green thumb.
Exactly. Then, okay, low light. Okay, this also has to deal with the soil. Okay. And I got to preface this by saying, like, I don't mean this to be like in any sort of negative way. And I want to respect anyone who's like needs work and needs to make money and like whatever. Like, I don't even need to get into all of it because just say I'm not coming at this as a negative way, but I do want to complain about this. Okay. When you go to the certain types of hardware stores and you go to leave, say you're me pushing a cart with the pallet on it worth of like stuff. Like, this is hard for like a big grown man out or something, you know, like this is hard for anybody. And so I'm pushing it. And then as soon as I hit like the pavement of the parking lot and it was bumpy, it got 1,000 times harder. And I was blocking traffic. I was whatever. But when you're there, it was just, I can't express of like how big this was. Like, it was huge and I can't see around it. And so I'm just like, F all these people and I'm pushing it across the parking lot. And then there's all the people being like, pay me to help you, pay me to help you. You know what I mean? They're trying to help and they're really pushy with it. And it's not like, hey, it's like kind of like, I'm just going to start helping you and then demand money sometimes. And also, like, I also am like using this as a time to push myself. Like, there's a part of me who wanted to push that to my car myself and get it all in there if it took me an hour or 2 hours and be like, hell yeah, I did this. But I was blocking traffic. My water bottle fell. I was rolling down the sidewalk. I ran after that. I ran back. I come in. The next thing I know, this guy's like just pushing. He's helping me push. And I just like was like, screw it. I can't. Just like, he's pushing. Like, I had a whole audience. Like, they're all like, look at this crazy bitch right now. Like, everybody's like watching. Like, this person's insane. And then like, I have an SUV, but it's like not a big SUV. And so then they're even more like, this is a clown car situation.
I realized probably like, just let them help you so we can all fucking move on with our days. Like, I'll get out of the car and help you.
So the guy gets into my car and then I'm like, okay, thank you. Because then someone else helped him too. And I'm like, thanks. Like, but they don't like speak English well. And then I tried to speak in Spanish, but they didn't speak Spanish either, these guys. And then I was just like, oh, I don't know. And then I was just like, no, I got it. I got it from here. I was just like, no. But then I was like, I have to pay them. And they're like, well, we'll come with you. Like, just, I was like, I can't, like, I don't have much cash. They're like, do you have Zelle? And I'm like, no, we're done. Let me just give you a tip right here. So I just like handed them a $5 and I was like, we're good. No, we're like, literally, we're good. Everybody else watching, we're good. I got this.
Yeah, you're like, I'm getting in my car and I'm out of here now. Like, oh,
like, I'm telling you, when I finally closed that back door, like, a couple guys started clapping.
Just stop it. I'm like, finally, we can get on with our day.
No, because no one thought I could fit it all in my car.
My God, that is so funny. I wish I saw that. I wish they could retrieve this footage and send it to me.
Like, I gotta call up the store and be like, we need to see your security footage just for like
the footage. Yeah.
in my
Somebody beat me up in the thing. I need to see the footage.
To even paint the picture worse, I'm sorry. When I'm doing garden work, I'm not wearing a bra. I'm not getting stabbed by an underwire. I'm not. So they're going to be hanging. Like, it just is what it is. We're one with Earth right now. And like, that's what happened. And I just like, I don't care. So like, that was another element of me in this like baggy t-shirt with,
oh my God,
everything.
Oh. Was it your Led Zeppelin t-shirt?
No, I think it was like Sublime.
Okay. My first thought was your Sublime one, your black one with the pink.
It's like tan. Yeah. So
down to communication. So how should we do this? Do you want to let us know the importance of an effective communication?
Yeah. And I think that's the place to start with this is like, why is it important to work on more effectively communicating? And so I kind of wrote this down to kind of like express this. So I'm going to kind of, it's like, effective communication is important so it can effectively help with exchanging ideas. It can effectively help with sharing your thoughts, sharing your opinions, also like conveying your knowledge of something, and so that the message is received and understood with purpose. I
think the reason why we wanted to speak about this is because this is something that we have both had to work on. Just even through doing the podcast, we've learned a lot of things of being like, oh, how can I communicate this better? Because we're speaking for like a full hour. And also too, like running a business, I was like, okay, I need to learn how to communicate with clients better. How can I express this? Now I'm married. I have to deal with a husband. How can I communicate with him so he understands? And I've had to learn myself, like I cannot keep a lot of emotion and have my communication be just like emotion based.
Yeah.
All of that. But that was why it was like important for me to learn how to communicate more effectively.
Exactly. And you want to convey it like with clarity and purpose so that you can really get that across in a certain efficient way.
Okay. So there's different ways of communication. So we have written communication. So whether that's an email, a letter, anything that is written.
And sometimes you need to write a crazy email. Do you know what I mean? You got to let them know. So you want to make sure you can effectively do that.
Yeah.
And if you really need to unleash, write that letter, throw it in the mail, get a postage stamp, delivered.
It's honestly, sometimes I feel like a letter is the most effective way to communicate.
Yeah.
That's just me. Okay, then there's oral communication.
Yeah, you got to talk that across.
You got to speak that out. We got to talk about this. And then there's nonverbal and visual communication. And this to me is always almost the most important type of communication for me, because understanding body language and expression and facial expressions is also a way like you can help yourself communicate better, but also a way to kind of pick up on how the person is receiving your communication as well as their communication style.
Exactly. And another thing I would say with this is doing hair. I have a problem is that sometimes my facial expression does not match what I'm saying. So sometimes I'm the shampoo bowl and I'm like concentrating on someone's hair, putting their toner on, and they're like, how's it look? And I'm like, it looks great. But my face is saying, we're endangered. And they're like, oh shit, what's wrong? What's wrong? And I'm like, I'm sorry. I just like, listen, it's my face. I'm concentrating. I have the worst concentration face. And this is something I have to work on because it is a big problem for me because I have scared the shit out of a lot of people.
You've scared the shit out of me with your face sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll be like, are you mad or something? And she'll be like, no. And I'm like, hey, well, you're just like giving me blank stare right now. But I'm the same way too. I have to really focus on my face because I'm like, there are times where, especially when I'm receiving communication, when somebody's talking to me, I will react with my face. So if somebody says something, I still try so hard not to roll my eyes.
Oh, yeah.
I try to hide when I'm like super pissed off. Look, I'm very reactive with my face.
Yeah. And that's the thing is sometimes I'm very reactive, but also sometimes I'm completely disassociated and like I'm in another place. I'm thinking about a shopping list or something.
This happened to us in a fucking, sorry, I swear again. This happened to us in a meeting about 2 weeks ago. Michael and I were in this huge meeting and I completely disassociated to the point where Michael kicked me under the chair because they were just speaking about all this stuff. And he tapped me and I was in the middle and I wasn't looking at anybody. I was just looking out the window. And then I was just like, oh my God, like, this is important. And Michael's like kicking me and he was making fun of me after. He's like, I saw you just completely like leave your body. I was like, no, it's too much. So we need to work on this.
Well, that leads us to our next point of active listening.
Oh my God. Sometimes I can't. I know.
No, make sure you're like actively listening to the other person you're trying to communicate with, because you do need to empathize with them. You need to try to understand their point. You need to try to get across there, because if you're not listening, they're not going to listen to you. So I think that that's a huge part of efficient communication is to make sure that you're taking the time to listen. Try not to interrupt them. Try not to whatever. But make sure you're listening so that you can also clap back with a efficient clap back if you need to.
Well, also too, selfishly, when you're actively listening, that's how you can learn their communication style. And then that's how you can use that for your own personal gain. But that's the toxic side of me, which we don't need to get into fully.
Yeah, but sometimes that's part of communication.
Right?
Like last resort.
Yes, contextual communication.
Yeah, which I think is important because you do need to, we live in the context, whatever the context of the situation, different cultures, different social settings, there's always a context to the situation that does alter the communication, and that's the thing too, even context, is this a professional? Am I writing my professor? Am I writing my boss or something like that? Or am I chatting with my girl? So that is the context of knowing what types of communication to use.
And now we have identifying communication styles. So there are 4 main ways of communication styles, but we've also added in some of the most popular ones as well. So it's a full added list here. And this is important for you to identify your own communication style so you can learn about yourself and where you need to grow, where you can excel, and different things that you can do to improve. But again, it's also good for being able to identify other people's communication styles, because when I'm trying to explain something, I'm going to bring up the kids. When I'm trying to explain something to Aiden and I need to really get through with him, there's a way that I need to say and a way that I need to speak to him that is completely different than the way that I need to convey the same message to Sterling. So there's different ways, because the way that they communicate is also going to be the way that they're going to show their active listening. If I'm communicating to them in a way that is completely off their charts, they have no need for it, whatever, they're not going to listen to me. So we'll get into it. One of the first ways is assertive. So that's being direct, clear, and respectful of expression of opinions.
Yeah.
I would say that you're pretty assertive sometimes.
Yes, I can be very assertive sometimes, because sometimes I'm we got to get it out. We got to get it out right now and put this out here, because I would say that that's something that actually doesn't come naturally to me, but it is something that I have learned that sometimes being assertive and getting it out there can be really helpful.
Okay. It's important.
It's important to be to be assertive about it sometimes,
Passive, and that avoiding direct confrontation, often using hesitant language.
And that's my natural state.
I feel like we're both pretty passive sometimes.
Oh, yeah. We're definitely both pretty passive.
Yes. And then there is aggressive. So that's domineering, interrupting, and using forceful language. That's me on my period if I fight with my...
Do you think that I'm aggressive?
Never. No, I think you're aggressive when you're going off in a tangent and a rant. And I think that you can be when you're driving and your road rage comes out. But I wouldn't say you're aggressive. Do you think I'm aggressive?
No.
And then we have analytical. So that's logical, detail-oriented, and focused on facts.
Yeah, and I think
So
that's important. I think a lot of times there's a combination of these types, but I think that is really important to be sometimes the analytical, because people are going to respect you more. People are going to take what you're saying more serious if you're like laying down the facts, if you're laying down, details, and that it's going to improve your communication for sure.
and sometimes it's the most efficient way to get through. Like when you are just analytical and it's just like straight to the point. And a lot of people do receive that better than the whole lollygagging around of like, oh, okay, I'm being passive. It's like, no, we got to be analytical right now.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's expressive, which is enthusiastic, storytelling, and using emotional language. So I feel like in our podcast, we're very expressive. And I think that sometimes when you're trying to engage with an audience or keep somebody's attention or, really convey a certain message, I think that that's a good way to communicate. It's a very great way that I can communicate with kids.
Exactly. And also, like I said, too, effective communication is a combination of these. You know what I mean? Because if you're just 100% analytical, snooze, if you're, so sometimes you do want to start a communication out with a little bit of expressiveness to kind of like be like, we're fun. It's like set the tone a little, like this isn't so whatever. And then you can, be assertive about something. And then you can also come back and back everything up and be a little analytical and drop the facts and drop this. And, and I think that it makes a well-rounded communication better that way, because it's still like the emotion, it makes it warm and fun like a little bit. And it's more, but also you live in the context. What is the context of the situation?
Exactly. Do you need to be passive aggressive, which combines the aggression styles, the passive styles, aggression styles, indirect ways to express anger? Like we all know passive aggression. I think I can be very passive aggressive sometimes. It's definitely something I've had to watch my tongue on, but I think it's important when you kind of learn these styles too, like reading your audience and seeing what is working and being able to kind of switch through. Yeah. So I'm gonna bring it back down to my marriage life. When I'm speaking to if I'm speaking to Sterling, I got to be analytical and I got to be like, okay, this, and this, and he's like, When I'm speaking to Aiden, I got to be expressive because I got to keep his attention and I have to like really, really get excited. And sometimes when I'm speaking with Michael, I got to be passive aggressive because then he gets it. Sometimes he's like, she means business.
Sometimes it is so fun to be passive aggressive though. Like it is like a skill, very much a super skill of mine. Like here's the thing is like if there's people that I just like don't like, which is very rare, I can be wildly passive aggressive. And sometimes, it just works.
It gets the point across sometimes. It does. It really does. When you have to apologize to someone and you don't want to.
Like, okay, I guess I'll just go ahead and get a little traffic and get ran over.
Like, so sorry. Now we're going to go into the 7 C's of communication. And this is really helpful to help support your conversation. I think this is also for whether it's written conversation or verbal oral communication, sorry. So we have clear, make sure your message is clear and easy to understand and convey your main objective. So let's say you're having a business meeting and there's a point that you really want to get across. It is important to make sure that you are prepared and you can speak clearly, especially if it's something that is important. Right now, I'm not really speaking clearly. So it's like, I'm probably losing you right now. Right? You see that?
Yeah. Well, let's just go ahead and break down the 7 C's and then we'll talk about them. Okay. So the 7 C's are be clear, concise, concrete, correct, coherent, complete, and courteous. Make sure you're courteous.
We got to be courteous.
Be curious. Yes. So obviously clear, you want to speak in a very clear manner, to get it across. And concise, avoid extra language. That's like unnecessary words. That's my problem a lot of times is I am not like as concise getting things across. But in a way on this podcast, sometimes it makes things a little more relatable, I think sometimes. But also that's a problem for me because I throw a lot of extra words in, but that's the thing too. If you want to get a point across and you want to be taken very serious, be extra clear about the grammar if you're writing or the words that you're using. Maybe practice ahead of time so that you can get rid of some words that are going to like dumb down what you're trying to convey. And be concrete, use facts to back everything up, come correct. Again, when you're writing a letter or something, you're going to it automatically discredits you if your grammar is wrong and your spelling's wrong. Like spelling is a huge problem for me and grammar is the point I've gotten better, I think, in the more recent years. But I also know that if I'm trying to get a job with something or there's something, I take extra care. And thank God I have a roommate that is like a genius and I can like send anything to and he'll be like, this is wrong, that's wrong, fix this way. You know what I mean? But you want to make sure your grammar and your spelling is like right, or you're going to like be not taking it serious.
I'm not going to take it. Yeah. Like, here's the thing. Especially if you're going to comment on somebody's post, it doesn't even have to be like a letter or something super serious. If you're going to try to comment on somebody's post and say something and you're going to come at me with the wrong your,
or there.
No. As soon as somebody's trying to make fun of me and they're like, you're fat, and they're using the wrong your, I'm like, get the hell away from me. You have nothing. Nothing.
I will say that like as I got more and more online using social media, actually I had to do a lesson. I taught myself. I was like, I'm using the wrong yours, I'm using the wrong theirs. And I was a grown adult. And I was like, but as you get online and you comment something and you use the wrong there or the wrong your, like,
yeah, that's it.
That's it.
It's like if you're texting me and we're kind of like arguing or something, this is where I'll be passive aggressive. Okay, let's say somebody and I are like a heated text or whatever, it's happened, and they use the wrong your. Say they send me a novel and they use the wrong your, I'll just reply back with the right your and a star. And that's it. I don't need to say anything else. I won.
In your head, you won. But you're never too old to Google it and write it down and to learn it, because that is, especially in business, especially in any sort of professional manner, it's important because people really do. There is people out there like Kris that will pick you apart for using the wrong one. Okay, so the next one is being coherent. So make sure like your message is like kind of has some structure to it if you're writing a letter, but also like if you're talking, like kind of sound coherent. And that's something that sometimes I get a little too jokey and it like doesn't come off exactly coherent.
They thought how like this whole time over like tried to share knowledge on how to effectively communicate. We're like, this is also where like I suck at this. I'm like, take this great advice from us.
Listen to our work.
This is why it's like hitting harder, because it's like we're learning this, and like these are the things that we're learning.
Exactly. And that's the thing too, is that nobody's perfect. And I think it's good to show that like the examples of where we go wrong sometimes, but I do know how to operate in a coherent manner when I need to. But it is a little bit of my just brand to be a little incoherent. I'm sorry that I take a lot of medications and I think it's scrambling my brains a little bit.
I mean, it just happens. It happens. Sometimes we're in different places, so just associating.
One time when I was like a teenager, my dad said to me, he said something along the lines of like, so you're not a pothead?
Do people used to think in high school there was this thing where people thought that I was on shrooms all the time
Really?
at one point because I was just so like out of it and like I always have huge pupils and like just like whatever and just like so just like whatever. And they were like, oh, we thought you did a lot of shrooms. I'm like, I've never touched a drug. That's so fucked up.
Welcome back to the Incoherent Podcast.
Seriously. Oh my God. Okay. And the last one is courteous.
Yeah.
This speaks for itself. Be polite and respectful, even when you don't want to be. If you want to be effective, you've got to be polite.
Exactly. Because as soon as you cross that line, it's over. You know what I mean?
Done.
It's done.
It is done.
I think we missed one that was complete, which is like include all the relevant information, like get it all out there, make sure you're getting all of it, which is crazy because we said there's 7 C's and then we left one on purpose because we were just saying, make sure you complete it.
Gone. Oh.
See, this is why you come to us to get effective information because we're going to have fun while we're doing it. Like,
we're always going to have fun.
Exactly.
The girls just want to have fun. No, but this stuff also works in relationships. Like, in terms of like being complete, like, say if you're trying to express something in a relationship or in an argument, like, don't hold back your feelings. Really just let them come out. Let out the things that are bothering you, because if you want to have clear results, if you want to have full results, then you need to make sure that you are being clear and you're not forgetting everything. You're complete.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that one thing that me and you both do, and whenever we're doing anything, is we'll just start spitting things out and writing things down. And it's like, no, this doesn't have to be in order. We don't have to include all this, but we just need to get everything out. We need to spit everything out so we don't forget anything, so we're not leaving anything out. And then we go back and we effectively put that together,
And we make it concise.
Okay. This is why you tune into the Bloodheads podcast, to get the most complete, coherent information. I do want to add one more thing. I think, though, like, if you are trying to communicate something that's negative, like, if you're trying to, like, tell someone, like, okay, this is bad news, like, you do need to make sure you're being, like, just get it out there, make it clear, make it concise, you know what I mean? Just, like, put it out there, like, this is bad, this sucks, but, like, and then, focus on solutions or whatever. And I think that that's a big part of communication is that it's like sometimes you're communicating something bad or something that the other person is not going to like. And
I think you can always do the build, break, build method, where it's like you can communicate a negative thought in a positive way and still get your point across. Like, you can start off really strong and give something positive and then be like, you know what? I really like X, 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 X. But I'm also feeling like this and this, or this isn't working, or this isn't working. But let's work for a solution, and we can do like that build, break, build. And then it's like, it's not just everything negative coming at you. And I feel like I can tell when that's being done to me. And I feel like it's effective because I'm like, you know what? You're really trying to be positive and not just be, just so harsh. And I think that's a great way to do it.
Yeah, and just to kind of recap everything really quickly, with effective communication, you want to make sure you're just being clear and concise about everything. You want to go ahead and prepare ahead of time, whether that's writing something ahead of time or whether that's just preparing what you're going to say ahead of time so that you can say it more effectively. Again, pay attention to the nonverbal communication, be mindful of that, and also watch your tone. You know what I mean? That's a big thing, is sometimes you can say something with a bad tone and it'll come off very differently than if you say it with a more positive tone, even if it's the exact same thing. And practice your listening to people and pay attention to the context of where you are to better make your communication better. Just like I said that at the very end there, make sure your better communication is better.
Exactly.
Be better than me.
Well, we love learning with you guys. We love sharing with you guys. It's a journey. We're growing, we're learning, and we love doing with you. And I think that basically wraps up our time this week.
I think so too. I think we're good. It's been a fun,
It's been great communicating.
great communicating.
Thanks, guys, and we'll see you next.
Okay, bye.